Yeah, buddy. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Childish. We're back at it again with the next episode of Underrated and Overlooked. Getting ready to showcase Mr. Bernard's big brother. Bernard's big brother. Let me show you who's Bernard's big brother. Definitely one you guys weren't expecting. I know this. You know this. And it's without a doubt one of the most underrated and overlooked units for both beginners, intermediate, and depending on your setup, could be advanced players. So, Spectra. Let's go ahead and bust this one out. Underrated and overlooked, the Fire Griffon Spectra. Why is he important? Why could he be useful? It depends on what scenario we're going to talk about. We're going to be focusing on dungeon, but I will just kind of chime in on arena for a little bit because, again, this is something that you can get early on in the stages and definitely could be viable. So, as always, before we get into it, bust out the disclaimer. This series is dedicated to the beginners and intermediate levels of players, from beginner to fighter 3-ish in arena, as well as people working on dungeon play between B1 and B7. This is going to be a unit that will actually carry on into the higher levels of B7 for the dungeon setting, and even in more so the Trial of Ascension. But generally speaking, the information is based on my experience or the experience of the people that I trust dearly in this community, and they are some of the top 100 players in the game. So. It's all subjective, it's all opinion, but again, I believe you will agree with me that this is definitely one unit that no one talks about but should be talked about because it's still viable in the community today. So what's the big jump for, why would this consider be Bernard, why would this be another, great unit such as Bernard? Well, Bernard, let's go ahead and clarify some things here if I can find him again. Bernard, he's known for his group attack gauge buff, right? And then the ability to increase the attack speed for 2 turns, right? In addition, he has a nice high, what is it? High speed, high base speed. So when you put a swift set on him, you really get more bang for your buck, as you've seen some people in the late stages of the game get their Bernard up to 250 plus speed. Well, for the beginning people, they obviously don't have the runes, right, to have that opportunity. But what you will notice, one of the big things that you will notice in this unit is kind of a blend of everything we want in a Bernard in the early stages of the game. So for Bernard, for Spectra, we have the increased base speed, which is given to him when he's awakened. We have a little bit lower defense. I believe the defense of Bernard was 380 versus 345 here, but what we make up for the defense comes in offense, making him a little bit... Sorry for the beeping there. That's the dishwasher done. Boom, fail. And then a little bit more attack. So in the arena setting, obviously with the high-speed units such as this, you're going to be doing a little bit more damage because, you're obviously focused around speed, and his first attack is based around speed. Your second attack consumes 10% of HP to do damage proportional to the enemy's max HP. So, in the early stages of beginner, this is not going to be, outrageously strong because, your beginner stages and whatnot, they're not going to have a lot of HP. They're focused on damage for the majority of the units and so on and so forth. But again, like I said, this is going to be more focused on a dungeon. Talking about this unit in benefits of dungeon. And as we got here, sends a gust of wind out that has a 50% chance to decrease the attack gauge of all enemies by 30%. Why can't I hold the button? I don't know. And decrease their attack speed for 2 turns. Okay. So this one here, this unit having the base speed higher, than a Bernard. When you put that Swift set on with a speed rune, chances are early in the stages you're going to have a better opportunity of getting this attack off versus the beginning stage Water Mystic Witch users and Bernard users and so on and so forth. Because if you do have this awakened, you get a nice jump. 15% speed goes a long way in the beginning stages of the game. And again, obviously the Swift Set plus the Speed Rune is going to help you out. And of course, why is this big? The decrease of the attack gauge, like I said, it's like the complete opposite. Instead of increasing your attack speed for 2 turns, you decrease their attack speed, everybody's attack speed for 2 turns, and their attack gauge. So if you don't have a really good Water Mystic Witch or Speed Leader or whatnot, and you want to give the opportunity for your team to go first, this is another way to do it. If you're not blessed with the other units to get, this is definitely another way to get it done. All right. So as far as arena goes, we'll leave it at that. My main focus here today is dungeon play, as we talked about last episode with the Wind Epicon Priest. We kind of want to talk about other units that are, in my opinion, worth mentioning. Well, as we move on into the late stages in the dungeons, we're going to be in situations where we are going to be looking to utilize ways to minimize the damage we take from unnecessary sources, and that's going to be the towers. By having a skill like Backlash, we give us the opportunity to use a fire-based unit in a dungeon that we're unable to use a wind-based unit. Okay, so as you guys have heard me talk before, or maybe seen on other people's channels, you have the Wind Pixie, aka Shannon, which is one of the best overall dungeon buffers out there. And obviously it provides the attack and defense buffs, but it has the AoE slow that allows you to slow the towers down in an effort to minimize the damage that you take or the hostile effects you take, so you can get the job done. Okay, the unfortunate thing about Shannon is that it's a wind unit, and there's certain zones, Dragons B10, basically any fire-based zone, Giants B9, that you might not have. You might be, out of luck, because him being a wind-based unit, he's just, he's always going to have a certain zone that's going to be not have the elemental advantage. And when you don't have the elemental advantage, you're definitely more susceptible to lose the unit. So this unit I bring up to you today because he provides that same AoE slow, which is what we want for 2 turns in the dungeon setting. Definitely AoE slows are very, very good. Gotta have them in the dungeon setting to progress. In addition, as we progress on, we have an ability that allows us to do damage proportional to the enemy's max HP, which, if people have seen my videos on Jameer or other people's videos on the light Amazon, there's a lot of them out there that showcase units that have skills based on enemy's max HP, which actually do a reasonable amount of damage. Of course, the downside is it consumes 10% of its HP, but if you have a synergistic team, there should be no issue in maintaining his health. Because it's 10% of its max HP. It's not like it's half or whatever, so it can't be too bad. Obviously stay away from it if you're like down to 20% HP. But if you're have a good team, if you're fortunate enough to get the light bear man early, you're going to be healing yourself for a little bit, and every turn, and get the crit rate up, and that gives you the opportunity to keep his heals leveled. Otherwise, any basic healer will kind of assist you in that matter. But dungeon play AoE slows are crucial in intermediate, especially intermediate to endgame play. So if you're looking for an AoE slower with the ability to, that is a fire-based AoE slower for the wind-based dungeons or the fire-based dungeons. Or as well for the fire-based dungeons, right? Because the wind one you'll cover Shannon. But if you don't have Shannon, it's a 2-star unit. Get it. If you don't have it but have this one, then utilize this one because this one can be viable. I believe this one would be a great unit for Dragon Speed 10. So for any of you endgame players listening, I believe that this would be very nice. Again, it all depends upon your makeup. You don't see a lot of people rocking this endgame, but because there's so many other units that provide more, um, more, how do I say, more utility to the team. But I wouldn't back away, honestly. If I were able to summon, like a 4-star awakening unit of this, I definitely would keep it and run it. Because again, I do see the strength of AoE slowers as we've all had in the past. Any endgame players watching this that has utilized Shannon for a long time, they know that this could be very viable for the zones that Shannon cannot be strong against. So that is it, guys. Nothing else really to kind of mention on as far as the runes goes. It's kind of the obvious there. We're going to be focused on the Swift set with an increase in speed. Okay. And, depending on how you want to set up speed, hit point, accuracy for the 246 is always a plus. You can make an argument for speed, defense, accuracy. You can make an argument for no accuracy on 6 and then just focusing on defense and hit points. But accuracy is going to play a vital role in making sure that this backlash lands. So depending on how you go about it, it kind of depends on the substats of your runes. If you're in the beginning stages of the game and you don't have a lot of good high-level runes with the substats, then yes, I like accuracy on 6. But if you're in the end stages where you have 5-star, 6-star runes that have anywhere from 5 to 10% accuracy on those substats, you might be able to get its accuracy up there without focusing on hit points or defense in that second one. So many ways to go about it, but the primary set to be to utilize on this particular unit is Swift, and I'll recommend Swift over any other one, just for the fact that his base speed is so high that you get more bang for your buck on the boost, right? And so it gives you a really great opportunity to do it. Now, you can make an argument, kind of like we've had in the past for Shannon, talking about the Despair set and utilizing a Despair set on there to take advantage of the AoE attack and provide a stun to that to slow those crystal towers and golems leading up to certain dungeons. That is you got reason to do that. But again, beginning stages, you're not going to have the opportunity right on the get-go to utilize the spare runes until you get them. You have to be farming and whatnot. I think Swift is going to be a little bit more feasible to get. And for those that are new to the game, I believe it's Tulane Forest. There we go. Yeah, for the Swift. So come on in here, start farming these zones. If you have the opportunity to clear normal, get into that hard mode and get into that hell mode to increase the quality of the rune, right? So the higher you go in the stages, the better your chance of getting the higher star rune, which is going to get you the better stats, overall substats, in order to make this guy better than he already is. So that is it, guys. Spectra, you heard it here, third or fourth, right? I wouldn't say this is you heard it here first because I think there's probably plenty of small or YouTube forums forums that might have talked about this here and there. I know that there's definitely some fan favorites, some high-end players that are fan favorites of this unit. So as far as the YouTube channel, we'll say the YouTube channel, you heard it here first. Spectra, underrated and overlooked, quality unit. If you're a beginner, jump on it. If you're in the end game and you're looking for a fire-based AoE slower, jump on it, get to it, be about it. Yeah, buddy. It's your boy Childish or ChildishPlays. Checking out. Take care, and we'll see you next time.